Good evening. Welcome to PoliticIt Podcast. I'm John Johnson, and we've got Emily Beeli with us today. And Emily is running for the party secretary for the Weber County GOP.
Yes.
Very good. Yeah. Very, very good. So let's talk a little bit about you. I think some of our audience may not know you. If they're involved, in politics like I am, of course they would know you, but some of the people won't be familiar with you. So let's talk a little bit about you for a few minutes.
Sure. I have watched a lot of your podcasts, Senator, and I know you like to talk about history and growing up, things like that.
Right.
And so I thought I would share that I grew up in rural Indiana, where the lot size for a home is an acre, and the block is a mile. So it's pretty sparsely populated out there, and I had grandparents who lived on a farm, so I got some great experience working with animals and vegetables, getting my hands dirty, and really learning the value of hard work, and so that was wonderful. And both my parents were educators, and so they strongly encouraged me to pursue education, so I had a great schooling, and then followed my mother's footsteps to Purdue University, where she was a professor, and I studied education at the strong encouragement of my parents.
At Purdue?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah. So what was your mother a professor of?
Home economics education, largely nutrition for nurses.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Purdue's a fine school. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I got a degree in home economics education, and then I taught for a year, and then I went into the corporate world with that field. And then I had a life-changing experience where I accepted the Lord Jesus as my Savior, and that really shifted my priorities and focus. And shortly after that, I met my husband, and even before we got married, we talked and agreed to homeschool our children. And he had aspired to have a dozen. We ended up with five.
Five
yeah,
kids.
We agreed to homeschool our children, and you can imagine that was a bit of a shock for my government-employed educating parents, but they really came around and were some of our biggest supporters, and they're very pleased with the way their grandchildren have turned out. So that's been really wonderful.
So are they all out of the house now, the five kids?
Yes. That's why I call myself a retired stay-at-home mom, home educator. And so now I have time. And the wonderful thing about my homeschooling experience was that I got involved with a philosophy called leadership education, which is very focused on original documents and natural law and the civics of things. And I've always been interested in civics, but through that, I really got more grounded. And so when we landed in Utah in 2011, and I found out about the thriving caucus system that existed here, I was just over the moon, because there was nothing like it in any of the previous 6 states where we had resided. And so we were only 35 minutes from the state capitol. My girls immediately got involved with TARS. I got involved as a county delegate and precinct vice chair.
So were you still homeschooling at that point?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And so it was just so invigorating, and launching us into the more nitty-gritty of a grassroots representative model of government, which is what we had studied about, we had known was intended, by the Constitution.
So did you school your kids in the great books then? Did you follow the great books tradition? And
yes, largely. We used a curriculum called Tapestry of Grace, which uses a lot of the original books and things. So yeah, we did a lot of reading and discussing, and that, I believe, is the foundation of a great education.
So what were some of your favorites?
Oh.
Because one of the things about being a homeschooler is you learn a lot yourself, don't you?
Absolutely. Yes. This particular philosophy has some projects that they teach, and the one that I really enjoyed the most was Key of Liberty, and that's all about the founding of the nation. And so just studying the law by Friedrich Bastiat, that's one of our favorites. My daughter.
I actually have that posted on my website.
Yeah, she gives copies of that.
Really?
Gifts. Yes.
Because hey, if somebody wants to read something great, go read Bastiat's The Law. It's not a very big book. It's more of a pamphlet, really, isn't it?
Right. Yeah, and he had the other one, I think it was the window, shattering the window or something like that. So yeah, that was great. And so getting involved then here, the part of the purpose of the party that I enjoy the most is bringing the elected servants in contact with their constituents and providing an opportunity for positions to be defended and critiqued. And that's where I was motivated to create these accountability meetings, which you have been to and you have been the subject of.
Yeah,
but it's
that was actually really well done. We had one at the library that I came to with you.
Yes, and there's not often that kind of format where the entire audience can hear the response of an elected servant, such that the issue can then maybe be burrowed down into more deeply. And it's not a opportunity to critique or
that's what I like. It is a critique, but it's not an attack.
Yeah, it's not an attack, but it's a critique. And you need an opportunity to defend your vote.
Right.
And that's what you get at what I create and call these town halls. And so that's what I really appreciate about my civic engagement. I've kind of been doing that for years and have gotten more traction lately, and I think it's been really appreciated.
Yeah.
On many levels.
Well, and your neighbors show up, your people from your precinct are all there, and so it's really kind of it's a good experience. It's really the kinds of things that we need to be doing to grow the grassroots, right?
To make civics cool again.
Oh,
that's
okay.
I'm a big Vivek Ramaswamy fan.
Are you really?
And he talks about making the nuclar family cool again.
Did you meet Vivek when we brought him to Utah?
No, I did not get to meet him then.
So our treasurer and I, Marlo Oakes, actually brought him out here when we were first talking about ESG.
Yeah.
And he had just written a book at that point, and so it was really cool to meet him. And that was before he was cool. He was cool then, but everybody didn't know it at that point.
Yes.
So
that's what I think, is that civics is very engaging and empowering, and everybody is affected, even though they might not think they are, on every level. And so I'm very interested in Ogden civics too. I'm an Ogden resident, and I really like to, I've had several meetings with the chair of the council and the mayor, giving them an opportunity to interact with the constituents, and that's been very positive too. They came back. It wasn't so unpalatable that they couldn't come back and do it again. And I really want to increase participation.
Well, I like the way you set up your format, because that's what you encourage. It's really good to be engaged in these conversations with people, especially when they're actually there to learn.
Yeah.
Right? And it doesn't mean they don't state their opinions, because they do, but it makes it good for candidates and for the public, I think.
Yeah, I think it's really essential, because part of the party's responsibility is to call out bad governing. Even if we chose a candidate and we're so happy with them, they're not going to be 100% perfect and not 100% in agreement with everybody who calls themselves a Republican. So it seems like we need to have opportunities to point out where we see disagreements, and then the candidate or the official, the elected servant, can defend their position.
Yeah.
Why did they vote the way they did? They have a reason, and it may persuade the people who then think that they've stepped out of line, and they may recognize, oh wow, they were thinking with Republican principles in mind, and they did their best.
That's very good. We're going to take a break and we'll come back.
Tired of media bias? Frustrated by political noise? PoliticIt.com cuts through the clutter, giving you real facts, clear analysis, and unbiased insight on the issues that matter most. Stay informed, stay empowered. Whether it's elections, policy changes, or breaking news, we've got you covered. No spin, no agendas, just truth you can trust. Visit PoliticIt.com today, because informed citizens shape the future. PoliticIt.com, where politics meets clarity.
Welcome back to PoliticIt. I'm John Johnson. We've got Emily Beeli with us, who's running for the GOP party secretary, the Weber County GOP.
Right.
So, during the break, we talked a little bit about some of your motivation. Why do you want to be the party secretary?
Well, the party website says that it's really focused on getting accurate information to party members about the party and about the candidates. And I would really like to take that to the next level with accuracy and more substance. Right now, or I'd like to see the CCC, the County Central Committee, and the Executive Committee minutes posted right on the website. I think that would be very empowering to the membership to see what's been going on. I also would like to, being an advocate of accountability, have the votes that are casted at the EC recorded and posted on the website. Reports from convention attendees have been posted in the past, and I'd like to see that again. And just have a more robust calendar and more activities, more engagement in general on the website.
That's good. So is this something that you've done before as far as website stuff, or?
No, I would say data stuff. I've been working to train delegates and precinct chairs and get people more aware of their responsibilities in their elected positions, and just get their neighbors out to engage. And there are people who really want to be involved, but they don't exactly know how to go about it. And there are so many opportunities to volunteer to promote the platform of the GOP. And another one of our purposes is to better the life of everybody in our county. And the Republican platform is a way to better everyone's life. Self-reliance, limited government, freedom of religion, freedom of speech, all those things. And so if the members of the party understood the platform more and spoke more freely about what they are, I think people would gravitate toward the party, because people may have a connotation about what does it be to be Republican or to be GOP, and they really don't understand the platform, which is the foundation of the party. And so I want people to be more outspoken.
You want more of that on the website so people can find it easily?
Yes, and have events so people can talk and invite and increase engagement. Civics is cool.
Yeah, especially when you're actually going out and doing it, right? When you're interacting with people, when you're bringing people together, when you're having the discussions.
Yes, and I'm excited about the election. I think there's a lot of energy, and we're going to have some new leaders. Except for Miranda.
Yeah.
She's the only one that's an incumbent.
That's currently part of the leadership.
So we're going to have some new leaders.
Yeah.
It's going to be exciting. And I've watched the interviews with some of the other candidates, and I think we have a lot of good candidates to choose from.
Yeah.
It's really good.
So that's tomorrow, right?
Yes.
The county party. It's starting credentialing around 9 o'clock, I think.
8:30.
8:30 to.
Yep.
Yeah. So I hope everybody shows up early. And I hope they watch.
Yes.
What you have to say.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I know there's not much time. We're going to be voting tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
A little after 10, but
You got your speech already?
Yes. And I have been practicing, and I really love it. I love it. I gave it to my husband for the first time.
And what did he say?
Today. He's like, it was really a jaw drop for him, because he hadn't seen it or heard it at all.
And he hasn't heard you so excited about stuff before, or what?
Well, I get excited about civics. I'm a little bit crazy about civics.
That's cool.
But yeah, he said I got his approval, let's just say that.
So what about your kids? Are they involved in this?
Oh,
I guess having gone through your civics training, right?
Yes. Yeah, I have my two daughters particularly. I have 3 sons and 2 daughters, and the 2 daughters are really behind the scenes on my campaign.
I'm quite excited about civics too, with this new civic Center for Civic Excellence that's coming at Utah State.
Yeah,
we're very excited about making it sure so every university student gets a background on why our country's so great.
Yeah.
Right?
Right. Why it shouldn't be demonized, and to be able to see where there's discrepancy between, what you're told and what really actually happened.
Well, and that's the educational part, right? So much of what's in the universities now is a critique on our country and our foundation, but students don't know enough to know what they're supposed to defend. Mm-hmm. Right? And that's why it's great that your kids had that experience growing up being homeschooled.
Yes. And I think like when we talked about critiquing elected servants at an accountability meeting, we have to know the principles of the GOP so that we can critique their decisions up against that.
Because that's where it's really at, right? I mean, one of the things that frustrates me a little bit is sometimes the things that you get critiqued for really aren't even part of the platform.
Yes.
Right?
I know that you talked about that with Phil.
And I think that's important for people to understand what the platform is and really what they ought to be judging the officials against. Mm-hmm. Right? It doesn't mean there aren't other things that come up that are important to people, right?
Yes, but we have priorities.
Yeah.
And
that's a good way to put it, really.
Should be a higher priority than other things.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, any parting thoughts?
Well, I am happy to be here and so glad to be able to get out the message a little bit about my enthusiasm toward improving communication and participation. Just in my casual interactions with people, I am so encouraged because I know people want to participate. They want to volunteer. And so I'm going to be gathering names tomorrow because when I become secretary, I'm going to need my volunteer pool ready to go. And I want people to volunteer in a capacity that they are passionate about. If it's graphic design, if it's data, if it's bylaws, if it's fundraising, if it's planning fun events, there's all kinds of opportunities.
Very good. Thank you. It's nice having you.
Thank you.
And we'll see you guys next week.